The night she told me she was leaving did not arrive quietly. It came like a sudden power outage in the middle of a storm, stealing all the light from a life I thought I understood. One moment everything felt ordinary. The hum of the refrigerator, the distant traffic outside our apartment in a quiet American suburb, the familiar weight of routine, and the next moment the future collapsed inward. Her face held a calm that terrified me more than anger ever could. And in that stillness I felt something irreversible had already happened. I did not know yet that the same night would also carry the words that would haunt me, heal me, and change me forever. Before the story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of love to transform broken people, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that are still searching for light. We had not always been this way. Years earlier, our love had grown from small, hopeful beginnings, the kind that feel unbreakable simply because they are new. We met when life was simpler, when dreams were spoken easily, and the future felt generous. We built a life out of shared mornings, late-night laughter, and silent understandings that needed no explanation. But somewhere along the way, responsibilities piled up, disappointments hardened us, and silence replaced the conversations we once cherished. Love did not vanish all at once. It thinned slowly, like air at high altitude, until breathing became difficult, and we did not even realize why. I became someone I never planned to be. I worked longer hours, carried stress home like a heavy coat I refused to remove, and mistook providing for caring. I told myself I was doing everything for us, but deep down, I knew I was hiding behind exhaustion. I stopped listening, stopped noticing the small changes in her eyes, the way her smiles no longer reached the same warmth. She tried, quietly at first. She tried to reconnect, to remind me of us, to pull me back into the life we were losing. Each attempt met my distraction, my impatience, or my promise to talk later. Later never came. The night she told me she was leaving, there was no shouting, no dramatic collapse. That was what made it unbearable. She explained her decision with a steady voice, the kind that only comes after someone has cried all the tears they had left in private. She spoke of loneliness, of feeling unseen, of slowly disappearing while standing right next to me. I wanted to argue, to defend myself, but the truth was already sitting between us like an open wound. I had loved her, but I had not shown it in the ways that mattered. As she prepared to walk out of the room, the weight of what I was about to lose finally crushed through my denial. Fear surged through me, sharp and paralyzing. I realized that love does not leave suddenly. It leaves after being neglected for too long. And then, just when I thought the silence could not hurt more, she paused. She turned back, eyes filled with something I could not name, and she told me she loved me. Those words did not feel like comfort. They felt like a final gift handed to someone who did not deserve it. After she left, the apartment felt larger and emptier at the same time. Every corner held a memory, every object an accusation. I sat alone for hours, replaying years of moments I wished I could redo. The love she gave me had not vanished. It had simply outgrown the version of me that refused to change. That realization broke something open inside my chest. I understood then that love is not just a feeling you hold, it is a responsibility you carry every day. The days that followed were heavy and slow. I moved through them like a ghost, going to work, coming home, existing without purpose. Friends noticed the change, but I brushed off their concern. Nights were the worst. Silence has a way of amplifying regret, and I heard every missed opportunity echo louder after midnight. But somewhere between the guilt and the grief, a new thought began to form. If love could still exist in her heart when she walked away, maybe it was not entirely too late for me to become the man I should have been all along. Change did not come as a dramatic revelation. It came quietly, in uncomfortable self-reflection and painful honesty. I started paying attention to the ways I avoided emotional responsibility. I confronted the fear that vulnerability made me weak. I learned that listening is not waiting for your turn to speak. And presence is not just physical proximity. I sought help, swallowed my pride, and allowed myself to be guided by the truth instead of ego. Each step felt small, but together they formed a path I had ignored for years. Time passed, and with it came distance and clarity. I did not chase her with promises or desperate words. Instead, I focused on becoming someone worthy of the love I once took for granted. Some nights I still replayed the moment she said she loved me while leaving. It hurt, but it also fueled me. Those words became a reminder that love, even when wounded, can be profoundly generous. Months later, life offered an unexpected crossing of paths. It was not dramatic or planned, just a shared space and a familiar presence. Seeing her again stirred emotions I thought I had buried. She looked stronger, more herself, and that alone told me how much pain she must have carried before leaving. We spoke carefully, not about the past at first, but about growth, healing, and the strange ways life reshapes people after loss. There was no immediate resolution, no cinematic reunion, only honesty, patience, and the fragile rebuilding of trust. I learned that love does not always mean holding on. Sometimes it means letting someone go so both people can become whole again. And sometimes, if the growth is real and the effort sustained, life offers a second chance, not as a reward, but as a responsibility. What mattered most was not whether we found our way back together, but that we both learned how to love better, with intention and courage. As time continued, something inside me settled. I no longer measured my worth by whether she returned, but by the person I had become through loss. The pain shaped me, but it did not define me. Love taught me its most difficult lesson, that saying I love you means nothing if it is not backed by action, presence, and care. Whether love stays or leaves, it always leaves a mark, and that mark can either harden you or transform you. If this story has touched your heart so far, if it reminds you of someone you lost or a moment you wish you could change, please take a second to like the video and share it. Your engagement helps these stories reach others who may be standing at the edge of the same realization. As the story comes to a close, I want to ask you something important. Before the ending, please comment below with one word that describes what this story made you feel. Your words matter, and they help create a community built on empathy and understanding. In the end, I understood that the night she told me she was leaving was not the end of love. It was the beginning of truth. When she said she loved me, it was not a contradiction. It was a challenge to become better, to love deeper, and to never again confuse comfort with commitment. Love does not always stay, but it always teaches. And sometimes, the most powerful I love you is the one that forces you to finally learn how to love back.